Hey guys, I say we check in with the Myers family. We haven't seen them in a while.
The bingo lounge? She can give me the freaky eye.
Oh, the whore with the big tits hanging down to her knees?
Maybe I'll choke the chicken, purge my snorkel all over them flappy ass tits.
Oh, well, they're a little dysfunctional, but which family isn't? I bet that little Michael Myers is just the best kid on the block. Great student, an awesome son, and just an amazing kid overall. Oh, wow, he is literally batshit crazy, isn't he? Rob Zombie's Halloween, coming out in 2007, produced by Rob Zombie partially and Dimension Films. And we know that Dimension Films is under the Weinstein Company. Those guys are objectively douchebags, and I'm not going to talk too much about them. In the mid-2000s, they were looking to remake another Halloween, and there were some ideas floating around for what they should do, but eventually they landed on Rob Zombie to do it. And, well, I was only 6 years old when this came out, so I wasn't allowed to watch things like this.
Don't you give me that look!
Man, that bitch got herself a nice little dumper.
What did you just say?
You heard me.
That's gross!
But I did watch the movie for the first time the other night, and I'm a little mixed on it because there were some things I did really enjoy about it, and there was more things that I didn't. But let's start off with what I did enjoy. So this movie is kind of broken up into three-ish sections, and well, you can kind of lump the first two together. The opening scene where we kind of learn about Michael's backstory and kind of how he was raised with his very, very fucked up family. William Forsythe playing Ronnie, which, William Forsythe, pretty good in this movie. He plays that douchebag, creepy stepdad pretty well. And that Rob Zombie dialogue really provides him to do that. Sherry Moon Zombie playing Michael's mom. I really actually liked her in this movie. I've been kind of mixed with her from my other reviews. Didn't really like her in House of a Thousand Corpses. Did enjoy her a lot actually in The Devil's Rejects. And then back to Three from Hell, I didn't really like her again. Her acting, at least. But in this movie, I thought she did a pretty good job. It really showed when Michael was getting brought to Smith's Grove and the cops were there after he just murdered pretty much the whole family, and her emotions, and you could really tell that she was a grieving mother in that time.
Blood in an upstairs hallway. Apparently, she had been stabbed 17 times. Her boyfriend Stephen Haley's body was found in the kitchen downstairs.
And as well, you have Hannah Hall playing Judith Myers. She doesn't have a lot to work with, but because she does get murked pretty early on, and I just didn't. Her character was okay, all right. And then we have little baby Laurie Strode, but that isn't going to be Jamie Lee Curtis, of course. It's Scout Taylor-Compton, but that's later in the movie. This first kind of opening scene and opening section, we see this messed up family, and it makes sense why Michael Myers would become a serial killer because of kind of how he was brought up and the things he was around. And, to parallel that with John Carpenter's original Halloween, I liked that a lot because in John Carpenter's version, we didn't really see a lot of Michael's backstory at all. We just see that opening scene where he kills Judith and then he's sent to Smith's Grove, moving on to, and then years later he's out again. But in John Carpenter's version, the family seems pretty normal. They seem pretty, just like a suburban family would be. I enjoyed that a lot because it adds a lot of mystery to Michael's character. It makes us question why he'd be a serial killer. In Rob Zombie's version, he answers a lot of those questions for us, which, is not something that I really asked for, or I ever really thought of, but actually didn't mind it. It was pretty cool to see, how Michael really could have became the way he does. And that first kill we get where he just beats the living hell out of the bully is really brutal and pretty disgusting.
Please help! I'm sorry. Don't hurt me, just I'm sorry.
That's a start to the movie, and that's really kind of, we should expect that from a Rob Zombie movie, of course. At this point, it's going to be brutal, it's going to be messed up, there's going to be a lot of fuck, shits, cunts, bitches, whatever you may like in his script writing, and I will get to that later as well. But yeah, as I said, for the most part, that opening scene is pretty good in my eyes. I liked the answers that he gives us, and I like the setup that he brings. And, it transitions to the Smith's Grove section of this movie, where we get Malcolm McDowell playing Dr. Loomis. Of course, Dr. Loomis is always going to be Donald Pleasance, but Malcolm McDowell does bring his own little flavor to the character, which wasn't the worst thing ever. I mean, he makes him more egotistical, more centric on, maybe making some dough off of Michael's trauma, but at the same time, there is care behind what he's doing. And I think with a little bit more time with this Dr. Loomis, I think Malcolm McDowell could have even brought some more stuff. There's a lot of interviews in this portion of the movie where little Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis are talking to each other. And I think Rob Zombie had the right idea behind kind of what he wanted to do with these scenes. I think he was trying to answer some questions that we had, because we'd never seen, this time between the characters and in the whole entire franchise or this universe. So, it's interesting, but not much is told. And then, for some reason, Michael just doesn't talk again after one of the sessions. And all right, that's fine. I think Rob Zombie's music choice is always going to be great in whatever movie he's doing. I think because of who he is, the rock star that he is, he's gonna have great music, and he does. I like what he brings to this movie. Also, the ensemble that he brings us. I mean, geez, we get some really, really, really great actors in this movie. Some of the ones I've already mentioned, but also Bill Moseley's in a moment. Sid Haig is in a moment. We literally get the trio from the Firefly trilogy, which is awesome. And also, you can't forget Ken Foree playing Big Joe Grizzly, motherfucker, because he is awesome in the little scene that we get.
Introduce myself. I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. I'ma cut that mask right off your face.
And I also really enjoyed the brutality that Rob Zombie brings to this movie. I think it is the most brutal Halloween film. I think it is the most disgusting one. And it really just feels like a Rob Zombie's take on the franchise, which I did enjoy. For those things that I've said, it really feels like Rob Zombie's take on Halloween. He did his own things. John Carpenter even told him, do your own thing with this movie. Make it original. Don't do the same things that I did. Have your own take on it all. And for this first half of the film, I think he did. And I was really invested up until we get Michael leaving Smith's Grove. So Danny Trejo, of course, is in the film as well. And I think Rob Zombie's direction, for the most part, was pretty solid. And, we get a really cool kill with Danny Trejo getting submerged into the water. And he was like, Mikey, I was good to you. But Michael does not give a fuck. And he brutally murders him and brutally murders the cops. And he gets out of Smith's Grove. And then, after, of course, Big Joe Grizzly, motherfucker, gets murdered by Michael, we kind of just get John Carpenter's movie again, just with that Rob Zombie flavor. Of course, like I said, it's more brutal, more grotesque. The kills are going to be more hardcore. But for the most part, it kind of just felt like John Carpenter's movie at the same time. Because there's a lot of scenes that parallel up with the original. That's, some were all right, but I was honestly getting a little bored towards the last 45 minutes of this movie, guys. I was sitting there and I was like, it kind of just lost me. That's really just because I just felt like I was watching a total remake. It didn't feel original anymore. Didn't feel like we were kind of getting it didn't really feel like we were getting a Rob Zombie's full-on take in the second half, because we get the babysitter murders again, and Tommy Doyle is actually played by Skylar Gisondo, and the first time I saw this guy, he was in a movie called The Binge, Hulu comedy where it all drugs, and alcohol illegal for a whole entire day. It's just a Purge kind of spoof, but I just remember seeing them that, and it was kind of funny. You know, it was like, is that him as a little kid? And it was. I was, in this second half, as I've been saying, I just wasn't really enjoying it. My entertainment factor was going real down, guys. And up to a certain point, we get to a certain point where Michael kidnaps Laurie, and well, it's just kind of like, oh, he's not gonna kill her, right? He's not gonna kill her. He just kidnapped her, and she gets out. And at that moment, I was like, guys, I'm checking out. And let's talk about Laurie Strode. Scout Taylor-Compton, I think she brought what she could, even with Rob's writing. And Rob's writing is suspect a lot in this film. I think it worked in the first half, but you can't just have every character be so deplorable. I mean, so many of the characters are just total douchebags and assholes. And, at a certain point, it's kind of hard for growth for these characters, or insight or anything meaningful, because everyone is just a dick in this film. I'm not saying Laurie is, but, a lot of the other characters are. And Laurie, for the most part, just seemed kind of insignificant. Tyler Mane, I guess I should have added in the positives, because he does a pretty damn good job. And the mask, I think, is a pretty cool mask as well. Tyler Mane is definitely the most hulking, violent Michael we've seen. He's just a savage in this film, and I definitely would not want that Michael Myers, Tyler Mane's Michael Myers, to be on my ass, because he would fuck me up. Other than that, in this second half, just really wasn't for me, guys, and it kind of affected my whole mood on the movie overall. I haven't seen the second one yet. I've heard some things that the second one is maybe better. I'm not entirely sure. I've heard it go back and forth, and I know this movie a lot of people hate. Of course, a lot of people don't like it, because it's hard to remake something that is just such a classic as John Carpenter's Halloween, because I mean, it's arguably the greatest horror movie of all time. Wasn't my favorite, guys. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. I'm gonna watch the second one tomorrow, and we'll see how that one goes. Maybe that might change my opinions or mood on this one. We'll just wait and see. If you guys like this video, I would very much appreciate it if you consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps out my growth, and I really like connecting with you guys as well. It's been really cool to kind of start this horror community and horror channel so far, and I can't wait for more. Thanks, guys.